My question was to Jeri. When you first entered into this show, there was such a dynamic chemistry between you and Kate Mulgrew and your characters themselves. And did that play out a lot in you as actresses as well? Was she very mentoring to you, and did that chemistry bleed over into actual life as well?
In which aspect of it specifically? Sorry.
Just like how Captain Janeway was mentoring Seven, trying to.
Oh, the mentoring?
Yes.
No. No, Kate is an amazing actress. She is an amazingly talented woman, and the scenes between Seven and Janeway were some of the best scenes that I had to play, some of those. But no, it wasn't, it wasn't easy. It wasn't an easy working relationship between the two of us. It was awkward. So some of the scenes that could play into, and some of the scenes made it more difficult.
Okay. Yeah, well, the best way to put it is, I think the hook, when you talk about PR, press, publicity, PR, the hook in the beginning was first female captain. Okay, so all the press went to Kate, right? So,
and traditionally, in every Star Trek show,
yes,
the press goes
to the captain, which is understandable. But for me, I was the only other actor who actually paid for a publicist. Nobody else did the first 3 seasons. And all I could get, literally, the publicist would call me up. Oh, Garrett, I've got you WKNBB in Nebraska. They'd like to do a morning interview with you, which means you need to be up by 3:30 a.m. your time to do this interview. So I got nothing, literally. Even on the press that you'd think would go to us, Jon Stewart had a talk show on MTV to begin with, right? And you would think MTV's audience would be Jennifer Lean and myself, but instead they had Kate and Bob Picardo on there. And honestly, those teenagers aren't looking to watch their uncle and aunt, come on thing. I mean, so a lot of the press was kind of like skewed towards that. And the bottom line is, when your character came in, you were the new hook. You were the Borg character. So there was a little bit of, maybe some professional jealousy or whatever it was, but there was a vacuum that was created in terms of press. You got everything down.
It was. This kind of feeds back into the question that somebody had asked earlier about if it was difficult coming in as the new cast member. And yes, and the other reason, not just because one cast member is being written down, but because when they added this character, Paramount, all of Paramount, and their publicity machine was very, very straightforward, and they verbatim said, this is our chance to break Voyager, to break Star Trek into the mainstream media. And so the Paramount publicity machine went into overdrive. Before the character had even debuted, before anybody had seen it yet, the publicity meetings were, I've never in my career since seen anything like that. I mean, for my characters. And they were very, very straightforward about that. They made no bones about it. This was their chance to break Star Trek into the mainstream media. And they were wildly successful in that regard. But that just added to the tensions. You've got, it was sort of the perfect storm, because you've got a new character being added and somebody leaving. You have all of the attention now shifts to this new character with the press and the media and all of that. Then you've got writers who have been writing for the same, 7 characters, 8 characters, 9 characters, however many there were of us, for 3 years at that point. And now there's a new character. And not only is it just a new character, but it's a really rich character to write for. So they're salivating to write for anybody new, but it's just so that it's something different to write into relationships with other characters. But so then Seven became, if not the A storyline, then a really big B storyline in almost every episode for the first at least 2 seasons I was on it. And so that's hard. That's not easy for anybody. Understandably. Of course that's going to make that's going to ruffle feathers, and it's going to make other actors uncomfortable. And so I totally get it, but it was handled differently by different actors.
But for me, it was very difficult for me, and I don't really talk about this that much, but for me, it was honestly like watching my mom or my aunt and my sister having issues or tension there, and it just, it hurt. It was tough. And I remember I was telling somebody about this in Germany like a couple years ago, and I started talking about this, and for some reason I just started bawling. I started crying. I was just crying and crying about this, and it hurt a lot, to see that. So just it was rough. Sorry. So and I kind of, my whole thing was I really wanted to be able to have. I really wanted to, like years ago when Kate was here, I was trying to get you to come also because I wanted to broker the peace in a way. I wanted to just have people know that, everyone know that it was tough, to see that happening. And the manager kiboshed the whole thing. He was like, that's the worst idea in the planet. I go, what? No, I want to bring people together. I want people I want people to...
Oh my God!
Sorry. So... I'm sorry, but it was tough. It was very tough. And my whole goal was to really just broker the peace. And to be honest, I saw her years later, and she did say at one point, she said all these things that happened with Jeri, I feel bad, and I know that I wasn't right in some of the things that I did and some of the actions and words that I said. So she did say that, just so you know. She said that to me. And so that made me feel like there was some growth there, it's just my goal for everyone to be friends and everyone to put aside all the bull crap, from before, because we're all there to do one thing, which is to make an amazing television show, to make amazing Star Trek. 'Cause let's face it, Star Trek is the only show on TV that has a message. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if there's anything that should be always on TV, it's Star Trek.